Welcome back. First things first, Chris Canty's back with us. Chris, thanks for sticking around.
Absolutely. It's a good day, gentlemen. We're just talking a little bit about the Yankees.
Talking about the guy on the back page of the Post, Didi Gregorius.
Won their home opener yesterday.
When Stanton goes 0 for 5, and you have to have someone pick up the slack.
When he's getting booed in Yankee Stadium after 5 strikeouts. That was unbelievable. You don't think it's going to be Didi that steps up, but they've got a good complement of players. Should we talk Yankees? Nah, let's talk football. Patriots making moves this offseason, given and taken. That's how trades work. Yesterday, they shipped receiver Brondin Cooks to the LA Rams in exchange for the 23rd overall pick. While the Patriots move is interesting, what's really interesting is what's next in New England. So they've got 2 first-round picks. They got 2 second-round picks. Plenty of draft ammo to move up or down. And a lot of questions now. Are they rebuilding? Are they trying to move up to maybe get a quarterback? Are they eyeing LeBron, Chris Canty? These are all things we need to think about. Chris, what does this move mean for New England? Well, the Patriots have an old roster, and they have a lot of holes that they're going to have to fill over the next couple of seasons. At the beginning of the 2017 season, they had the 6th oldest roster in the NFL. We talked about Rob Gronkowski, his health issues. We know that they're eventually going to have a replacement for Tom Brady. They've got to find somebody that can rush the passer, that can win one-on-one opportunities in the pass rush. So having 2 picks in each of the first 2 rounds, I think, is a big deal for them. Yeah. It's the first time since 1998 that this organization has had that, and I think this is the 3rd time in Bill Belichick's tenure as the head coach where he's had 2 first-round draft picks. The first time was when they drafted Vince Wilfork and Ben Watson. The most recent time, 2012, is when they got Chandler Jones and Dante Hightower. So it's worked out when he's had multiple first-round draft picks. So they're going to use this as an opportunity to build a young nucleus of core players that they're going to be able to then continue the traditions and can have that sustained excellence in the Patriot way. So I think that's important for them, getting an infusion of young, talented players. I wouldn't rule out them trying to go after a quarterback, too, with one of those first 4 picks.
Yeah, it's not that I disagree with you, but the Patriots in the last 12 to 16 months, they seem like they're in a rush. Like, how many Super Bowls can we win with Tom Brady? They've gone out and tried to trade for veteran players. They haven't done as well in the draft as people would like to think that they would do. They've done better with retread veterans and or trading players before their contracts were expiring. And what they've done a great job is getting into bad deals. They don't do bad contracts. They don't have one bad contract on their roster. So what this told me about this trade was they knew that they were not moving forward with Brondin Cooks. They were not going to sign him to a contract extension. They were not pleased with his overall ability as a wide receiver to be able to be beyond a deep threat. Can he be more than that? That's obvious with the trade. But to me, it also says they're going to have to try to build a move on with some younger players. If they don't get the best tackle, 1 or 2 tackle in this offensive tackle in this year's draft, this trade is a failure. And if they don't get one of the top 5 quarterbacks in this year's draft, this draft is a failure because these picks came from Jimmy G being shipped, them giving up on Brondin Cooks, and they got a 40-year-old quarterback. So the reality of it is, man, this model would have to be different. Like, I mean, they're going to have to change up the way they're doing things. And to me, I've seen in the last 12, 16 months, they have tried to win right now approach. How will they do that with all these draft picks?
Well, and also, just think about this. 2015, 2016, 2017 drafts, 3 drafts. The Patriots had 1 pick in the top 59. No other team, I think, had less than 3. 1 pick in 3 years that was basically a top 60 pick. Now, part of that's because of Deflategate. Part of that's because of the Brondin Cooks trade. You know, they had a pick taken from them. They traded a pick away. Like, there's different reasons for that. But CeCe's point, I think, is an important one for people to realize, which is when we can't allocate these 4 picks they have to 7 players. The 4 picks, and now maybe you can allocate them to 5 players if they end up trading one of these first for 2 seconds, something like that, move down. But when you say the tackle, I think you're spot on. There's 2 tackles in this draft. I'd be shocked if they don't come away with one of these 2, either Colton Miller, 6'8" kid from UCLA who was injured in 2016, or Mike McGlinchey. I feel like I'm saying his name right. 6'8" kid out of Notre Dame. I'm not including Orlando Brown. I feel like his lack of perceived work ethic heading into the combine almost X's him out for the Patriots.
Connor Williams also out of Texas.
Okay, sure. Yes. So but they will, and I think they make this trade feeling like should be there at 23. But if there's a run on tackles, now we have some more capital to move up. But I agree, they also need a quarterback here. So now so there's 2 of your 4 of your top picks. How are they replacing Brondin Cooks? because this is not a great wide receiver draft. The best wide receiver available, by the way, Calvin Ridley, is 23 years old, but also is not going to be there at 23 because there's only one real, no doubt, first-round wide receiver there. And so now you're talking about with Brady, because they have been hurried. Let's win a title with Brady. Let's win another one with Brady. Now you're talking about your best receiving options. One is a 32-year-old Julian Edelman coming off a torn ACL, and one is Rob Gronkowski, who's in, out, in, out. We know the injury history. That part of it is concerning to me.
Well, here's the other thing, though. And you might not be able to replace it with a receiver per se, but you might be able to add a tight end. If you look back in the early 2010s, earlier this decade, they had the 2 tight end sets. They were able to create those 12 personnel looks and create matchup nightmares for defenses. So maybe that's an alternative if you're not able to get one of the wide receivers at the top of this year's draft, or if you don't like any of those guys. But when I start looking at this Patriots team, they've got to figure out another way to try to win. And CC, you're right. They usually don't value draft picks in terms of taking young players and installing them into their offensive or defensive systems. They usually try to flip them for veteran players that can produce immediately. But right now, I don't think that's a realistic scenario for them. I think they're going to have to find a new way with some younger players, and this is just the time where they're going to have to use youth in some critical spots.
One thing they have to watch out for, too, in pursuit of trying to get a quarterback, you have to realize, don't forget the temperature in your division. The Jets are in desperate need of a quarterback.
A lot of teams are.
Buffalo needs a quarterback. And Miami.
They might need a quarterback.
But CC, because of that, that's why I say the New England Patriots are still in a good spot, because the quickest path to the playoffs, or the most sure path, is winning your division. They're still going to be in good shape to win the AFC East.
No doubt. All right, Chris, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Coming up, is Kawhi Leonard really on the trading block? That's next on First Things First.
I don't know why I said this week. It's Wednesday, but so far, it continues.